Persona is defined by how a person portrays it, how they act publicly towards others, but inside of them is a more real self that is yet to be unlocked and shown to the world. It can be difficult for these people to unlock their true self because they don't know how to express themselves, or might not be able to express themselves due to the fear of outsider opinion. They don't know what reaction might happen when they state their true thoughts upon someone, something. They hide it from others because no one will ever understand what you really believe and what you are going through at that time. And it becomes an issue when you are given a personality with multiple traits. Gangle has multiple personas through her mask gimmick, having to portray somebody that she isn't at all. It doesn't make her, it doesn't provide her with any good. It just sets her back from the truth. Hello ninjas, welcome back. In our second installment development deep dives through the cast of Amazing Digital Circus, we explore Gangle's development and how she fights through the mask personas, never being able to share her real self because it is hidden behind a simple mask that can get broken within seconds. No one ever cared for her because she just hides behind a mask. But behind that mask is somebody that wants to be themselves. With these development videos, I will go through episode by episode to explain how Gangle develops throughout each episode, and in the end predict whether or not Gangle will or will not escape the Digital Circus. As a reminder, with the previous episode, since I got some comments about it, I'm only talking about if that specific character will escape, not the entire crew. Okay? So I'm not talking about if the entire crew will escape, I'm talking about if that specific character will escape. Because yes, I do believe there are specific characters that will not escape, but we'll get to there once we get to their development videos. All great goes to Glitch Productions and Gooseworks for making this incredible series, and let's jump straight into development deep dive of Gangle, a person with multiple personas. Quick briefing of Gangle. Gangle worked in the fast food department for a while, going to community college for graphic design before dropping out. When she entered the circus, she was given a mask gimmick, where she could put on a persona of a sad, comedy, or happy mask to portray that she's happy, sad, or, well, laughing, I think? I don't really know how you can portray the difference between laughing and happy at like the same time. I don't know, I'm getting too deep into this. Okay, briefing over. Time jump straight to episode 4. I won't be doing this for every character, it's just that Gangle and Ragatha's development start in the same episode, so there's a coincidence there. Gangle is the main focus as we land Spudsies, a fast food chain with Gangle being the manager. Before we get to that, it is good to note that prior to the adventure starting, Gangle's happy mask broke, yet again by Jax, which, you know, is rather odd that it's Jax who breaks it. And, I mean, it makes sense because Jax is with Gangle a good majority in the first half of the series, so there's that. Moving on, Zooble mentions to Gangle that she has something for her. She finds a new mask in her junk box. However, this time it's plastic, so nothing can absolutely break it. She puts it on and feels appreciated. She feels her actual self. It's sort of, not really. We'll dive deeper soon. Just you wait. The job begins by Gangle turning on the machines, the lights, and gets ready for a hard day's work when she's already put to the test, as Jax looks like
Ragatha and dropped her in the deep fryer.
Gangle, being a good manager, warns Jax, saying that won't cut it around these parts. As Gangle hangs up the phone, you can see her plopping a reference she would only know. It's like this mask is allowing herself to be normal. The next scene we see Gangle is when she's talking to stupid Agatha. I'm not the best at trying to say stupid Agatha, like how evil Ragatha said it, so I do apologize there. We notice that her mask turns upside down, presenting an annoyed/mad emotion. It's quite fascinating to see that this mask can allow multiple personas than just one like the others. And before you say, yes, I know Gangle can be happy in the sad mask, just more unlikely. Gangle quotes, "And next you're going to say that my authority isn't real." Interesting words by Gangle towards Pomni. Does Gangle think no one will take her seriously? After that we hear a crack. No pun intended, we see some cracks are starting to form here. This is the first of 3 strikes. The second interaction with Jax gives Gangle another crack on the inside. Yes, I know, there's no crack on the mask. The cracks are supposed to portray Gangle's true feelings. Which, by the way, this torture machine thing, is this actually what Gangle could truly be? Because if that is, that's truly wild. The fact that you had a magical hand of some sort grab him, have his eyes get popped out, then proceed to do a freaking torture machine of being happy and sad, and being maneuvered in like a chair in the like, what? Like, I would love you guys to say in the comments, is this who Gangle is on like the inner side? Not like the public figure or the secondary face where it's close to friends like Zooble. No. I was talking about like her personal self, how that she doesn't reveal to anyone. Is this actually her? Because if so, that is some wild shit, bro. The third strike approaches as Gangle and Ragatha chat yet again. And, things happen.
Well, then you...
Well, if you underperform now, you might end up hurt later.
Hurt nothing. I'm hurt enough. Packages landing on my head, tea parties, dancing lessons.
What's wrong with her? A team works much better when we're all giving it 110% instead of, 5.
No offense, but you're kind of annoying when you have your happy mask.
Let me write this one up, hang on. Strike 3, you're up! How's that? Is that good? I don't know. Let me know. This even got to a tipping point when Gangle nearly abstracted.
Broken.
Is it broken? Or are we the broken ones?
Ah, great.
How long has this shift really gone on for? 6 hours? 8? 24? A week? A year? Does time even move in here? Will we ever go home? Will we ever achieve our dreams? Oh wait. Yeah, that clock's broken.
You can see here that nothing makes sense. She's supposed to be happy and truly be herself, but no one allows her to be. Jax disregards her, hating this new persona. Ragatha also hates this new persona. It's like she doesn't even exist with this new mask. Jax and Ragatha never allow Gangle to truly be the leader of this specific adventure. Whenever she asks them to do something, they just disregard and say, I don't want to do it. I don't care about you. I'm just here to get this done. And Gangle's trying to, as the manager, do her job, but they won't allow her to do her job because of this persona she has presented where she's the manager, she's supposed to be happy-going, heartwarming and such. But because of this, Jax doesn't like this version of Gangle because they aren't used to this version of her specifically. And same thing with Ragatha. Yes, I know, the stupid sauce effect, but that still means that there's changes to be made around this. Just something to note. Needing some space to breathe, she heads outside, and only if she didn't stop expressing the truth, we could have had more info towards her and Ragatha. Like, bro, it was right there. If you just kept going, we would have been there and got the development we needed. But no, because she just had to stop and keep her persona she wanted to give to the public, and then proceeded to keep it to herself. At the end of the adventure, Gangle is in a much more disappointed mood because this new mask never gave her what she wanted. It did for a bit in being able to joke around and do the things she wasn't able to do before, like the references she did towards Jax in the beginning, and then saying, then you're not gonna like my authority, turning the mask upside down, those type of things as examples. But it didn't work in sharing her actual thoughts with others since everyone just didn't care or disregarded it. No one actually acknowledged her. They never actually took her serious. They took her as something as just like a bystander right there, as something that is just there to be part of the adventure. She never was really the manager in other people's eyes. Ragatha didn't acknowledge it, Jax didn't acknowledge it, Pomni didn't acknowledge it. Zooble was there, but Zooble just did it for the adventure, didn't want to annoy Kane or anything like that. To conclude this part, no one was allowing her to be what she wanted to be. This happy, charming, relatable person that could just be creative and enjoy what they enjoy and talk about with others. At least she took the grade upon herself instead of blaming it on one of her employees whenever she technically got run over by a car, but remember, this is a digital world, so they didn't die. Gangle returns from the adventure far apart from the crew. Zooble notices and asks her why.
I messed everything up. The mask didn't work. And now I don't think anybody wants to talk to me anymore.
I still like talking to you. Look, the new mask was a bust. So what? I'm sure we'll find something that works eventually.
I don't deserve a friend like you.
Well, you've got one. Now, come on over and hang out with the rest of us. Bring your art too. I always like seeing what you draw.
It is important to see that somebody cares about Gangle and her drawings, as she was at her lowest. One opportunity where she was herself failed! It didn't allow her, and now believes nobody wants to talk to her. It was Zooble that came over and gave her the appreciation she was looking for. She wants to be cared for. She wants her feelings to be shared. She wants someone to understand her struggles. And with Zooble, she now has that reliable, trustworthy ally that's inside the Digital Circus. In episode 5, we don't get too much about Gangle. However, we do get one of her suggested adventures, which is anime. And this can actually tell us a lot about herself because she hides all of her enjoyment from everyone due to the fear of outsider opinion. You could tell during this adventure that Gangle is happy. She can finally be who she wants to be, until of course Zooble calls her out and she blushes in embarrassment, and then becomes threatened with the figurine thing once again. Can we please just relax with the figurine thing? We're never gonna get it answered, and Jax, stop bullying the living hell out of her. Now, usually I wouldn't add characters in, but it's quite fascinating to note what Jax says about Gangle in the next adventure, which is stargazing. Here's the clip.
Do you think Gangle is actually capable of being happy?
What?
I don't know, like her comedy mask still breaks every day. Does she think hanging out with Zooble is gonna magically fix that?
Now, Jax has an interesting point here. Is Gangle just covering up her feelings on the truth? Is Gangle actually able to shed happiness without being forced to wear a mask? Here's my take upon this. I believe Gangle could shed some happiness upon herself no matter the mask, but it becomes difficult when nobody allows her to be herself. An example of this will be back in episode 4, where Gangle is acting like her actual self, who she wants to present to the others. But both Ragatha and Jax just ignored it, and just acting like this was a different kind of Gangle, and never really took her seriously, preferring her when she had multiple masks that could break. And I want to note something, right? They know what Gangle's feeling depending on the mask. She could be sad, she could be happy, or she could be full of laughter. But with the plastic mask, they don't know what she's portraying at the moment. Could she be happy? Could she be sad? Could she be laughter? Could she be disappointed? Could she be annoyed? They don't know what she's trying to say specifically. And even with these references that happen here and there in episode 4, they won't know what she means by that. And because this is unfamiliar territory for them, they kind of just ignore it because it's just Gangle saying things, and they never took her seriously as the manager. And let's not forget that Jax has broken Gangle's mask on multiple occasions throughout the series, whether or not it was on accident or on purpose. I personally disagree with Jax's point. However, I could understand the argument if you were to favor Jax's point, in which that argument would be the point of forced reactions and feelings. Basically saying that Gangle can be happy in a sad mask, she just doesn't decide to. She just uses the mask gimmick as a way to be that specific one, due to her not wanting to be happy in a sad mask, or her not wanting to be sad in a happy mask, or not actually giving the emotions she wants to feel at that time with this specific mask. Transitioning over to the bar scene, we have already covered her backstory in the briefing, but I do want to mention that she's drawing yet again on a piece of paper. She uses art as a way to escape from the real world problems she has. Art is the one thing that you can allow to be freely expressive and create without anyone judging you. They may question you, but they know they can't do anything about it because it is your piece of paper and they can't do anything about it. Could rip it up, but that won't do anything. It provides Gangle a way to be herself, as this has come up many times before. See the recurring theme I'm explaining here? Personas and being herself? That's basically what Gangle is about with this development. It shows how in life you can't always be yourself. You can't always do what you want to do specifically. Sometimes there's a path that you're forced to take, and sometimes there's a path you are able to take. And even in life, it just can't be that easy for you. There's going to be road paths, there's going to be rocky roads, and you're going to have to somehow get through it. To conclude this part of the adventure, we had to softball real quick, as we noticed Gangle doesn't have an evil alter ego. That would be because it is quite impossible to have an alter ego to a multiple persona character. What, the evil is just one mask? That makes zero logical sense. Although I also don't understand how evil Orbs Man is supposed to be the alter ego to Gangle, but you can't do anything about it. On to episode 6. They all get guns. Gangle teams up with Zooble instead of the usual Jax. Remember this though, because Gangle gives a request for Zooble.
Do you want to hold on to this during today's game?
Huh?
I don't really trust myself that much with it. And I also just really want to be able to fire a Tommy gun while laughing maniacally, and I don't want to break it before I get that chance.
I'll keep it safe for you.
From the talk at the conclusion of episode 4 and the bar scene in episode 5, Zooble has become a trusted ally for Gangle. She knows she can do things she wouldn't be able to do. So holding onto her happy mask is a big feat in trust. Heading over to wherever the fuck they are in the circus, Zooble and Gangle have a conversation.
If we can't find the Tommy gun, will this work?
Yeah. Do you think Jax is gonna be mad that I didn't team up with him.
I wouldn't worry about him right now. It's all just a game in the end.
It's Jax, though. He probably wants revenge, and he's gonna make it painful.
Hey, you deserve better than thinking about him when he's not even here. You're a human. You're not his toy.
It sometimes doesn't feel that way.
These avatar gimmicks, huh? Makes you wonder why no one else got them.
I just wish that... How are you supposed to like the part of yourself that just makes you worse than everyone else?
'Cause it exists. It's a part of you that's real. And the only you that you should care about is the real you. You have to choose to love yourself, even if it doesn't make sense. It's not natural, it's intentional.
Have you ever had to make that choice?
Huh?
Sorry, I mean... Of course not, you're zooble.
Whatever happens, I've got your back if you've got mine.
Yeah. Now let's go kill Pomni and Jax.
How are you supposed to like the part of yourself that just makes you worse than everyone else? And herein lies the point I am making. Gangle isn't able to be herself because the mask gimmick is pushing her down. It's not allowing her to be herself. It's making her be someone else that isn't actually her. Zooble then mentions that it just exists. You need to love yourself for who you are, even if that means the world is against you. As long as I am here, I'll be there for you. And as long as you're there, you'll be there for me. What Gangle needed is someone to understand her. Understand the emotions and feelings she has to go through every single day with the personas. Whether that's happy, sad, or comedy, she's never able to be what she wants to be because someone is in the way of that. To have someone like Zooble understand her is extremely impactful because in a way, Zooble is going through similar issues like her. She can't find her real self due to all these multiple parts and never being able to stick to just one. So to see someone that has similar issues can be this much impactful towards the specific character. And then the build-up we were all waiting for. You know what? I'll let y'all enjoy this one.
Crap.
It's so awesome for Gangle to finally be able to do something she wanted to do, which was, by your Tommy gonna be happy. Nothing else happens in this episode for Gangle, and no, her being a cat does nothing to her development. That was just a reference to something. I can't recall what though, so if somebody knows, place down in the comments with a timestamp of this being mentioned. Cheers. In episode 7, Gangle continues to hang out with Zooble because she has cared for her all this time, and it's great to see that. This bond between one another becoming more of a chemistry deal is wonderful to view. Zooble drawing Jax's face on wall mail for Gangle does wonders, man. It is incredible. Speaking of the two, Gangle asks a question to Zooble towards Kinger.
Should we tell Kinger what's happening? I feel bad not including him in any of this.
We're supposed to follow Abel's instructions. It probably couldn't hurt to at least give him a warning, though, just to get him into the right headspace.
If this was Gangle in pre-episode 4, she wouldn't have had one to inform Kinger about this. Or if you want to see the other way, if it wasn't Zooble that was there, she wouldn't have asked that question regardless. Those small interactions can impact the character even in the slightest way. And this can be supported with this quote.
Are we still gonna be friends when we're out there?
Why wouldn't we be?
It's just gonna be strange. I've only known you like this. Will it be the same when it's real?
It always was real. Everything we felt, everything we've done, everything we are. It'll never leave us. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you for always being there when I needed.
It is indeed that time to bring it all together now with episode 8. The crew is at a standstill, pissed that Jax kept the crew inside the circus instead of escaping. But with Gangle, she views it as something that cannot be changed since it happened.
It doesn't matter what could have happened. We could argue about it and hurt each other all day long, but that's not gonna help anybody. I think what we need to do now is to just be there for each other.
She's saying that if we continue to argue about this, it won't do anything because it has already happened. You cannot change the past. What we need to do now is be there for each other, support each other in one way or another. No matter how hard times are, we can make sure it gets brighter in the future as long as we stick together. This shows her development as a character, expressing the truth and opinions, and for once, getting agreements from her, which is unusual. Back in the previous episodes at the start of the series, we didn't see that much of Gangle because no one ever cared about her opinions, no one ever really appreciated her or acknowledged her at all. But now with someone like Zooble to cheer her up and brighten her up more, open the can, that she can actually speak freely now, shows the amount of impact that Zooble has gotten specifically for her. And this is all brought together now with what Gangle says towards Kane. You discourage us from thinking outside the box and doing things our own way. Now, let's break this down. The first part was that Kane discourages us from thinking outside the box. This can be attached to her artwork and manga throughout the series, and her dropping references she would know in episode 4, but no one else would, because she never gained confidence in her plastic mask. She tried to, but everyone just disregarded it. No one actually cared for her or even appreciated her, nor did they acknowledge her for what she was trying to do. She was trying to take care of Spudsy's restaurant and make everything go well. But no one cared about the adventure, so it was quite difficult for Gangle to actually be serious at the time. The second half of the quote, doing things our own way. She wasn't able to do her things because it wasn't anyone else's enjoyment. She skipped the anime adventure to hide her own feelings, to hide her own embarrassment, not wanting Jax to present the figurine thing towards everyone else. She wants to hide it for herself, and she doesn't want to be embarrassed. Heck, let's take it back to the pilot in episode 2. In those 2 episodes, Jax bullied her many times. He shoved her, he pushed her on multiple occasions and broke her comedy and happy mask many, many times. Even at the beginning of episode 4 as well, where he hit the softball and it hit right on Gangle's mask. He never cared for who she is. Nobody ever cared for who she wanted to be. It was only when Zooble stepped in to genuinely take care of Gangle. And since she has done that, they've been the bestest of friends ever since. Even getting a hug of happiness from episode 8. Gangle finally has someone who can understand her struggles and be supportive of her every step of the way. Now, I want to know, your connection to the real world scenario here may be different from mine, okay? Just please note for that, okay? So, in the comments, if you think there's a different perspective Gangle has towards like the real world issues, just say in the comments nicely, please. I don't want to get anybody mad or frustrated, okay? This is all my opinion. In Japanese philosophy, there are 3 faces we present as human beings. The world face. This one is your public image. Take this YouTube channel as an example. What you see is me being a YouTuber, but outside of this, there are many other things I do, like editing the video, I watch sports, maybe scroll social media. This is what you want to present to the public as who you want to be defined as. The second face is your close friends or family. This is where you become more personal about yourself. What you present here is more close to home, what you actually want to be known as. But it isn't the closest to yourself because you don't want to be judged too much about what you like. The last face is yourself, what you hide from others because of the fear of judgment and outsider opinion. Why am I telling you this? Well, that's because Gangle portrays this. The personas we have in ourselves. There are things we may want to show to the public, but not in the truest form. There's things you may tell to close friends or relatives, but not the truest form. There may be something that you believe in that you won't share to anybody because you feel it's more personal and cannot be shared with anyone. Gangle has these. The public viewing of her is just a sad acceptance person that just does the work when presented. But when Zooble is around, she presents the second face. She knows Zooble is supportive of her, so she can share more opinions that will be more likely to be heard by the entire crew. And then last is what her true feelings are, her actual opinions that Zooble hasn't even heard of. We all have an inner, outer, and public face, and that's okay. As long as you know when to manage it and when to use it, nothing can get into your way of presenting your true self to the world and be who you want to be. We went over Gangle's development in full, but will she escape the digital circus? Will she be able to make it back to the real world? Well, I believe so. Gangle has her development finished. She knows now that she can be her truest self when necessary and just present something publicly when she needs to do it. I believe it is best for her character to actually escape since she now knows what to do, how to make friends, and what people may actually like from her. I can see the argument as to why she might not escape since there may be more things we need from her, like why is Jax always on her team in team adventures? What is Gangle's emotions pre-life or past life family-wise? But my prediction for this is that Gangle will escape Digital Circus and enter the real world to find new friends and companions to help her achieve success in her new life. One last note before I head to the outro. I want to thank you all for the support and engagement on the Ragatha development video. As of I made this script, which was on April 15th at 4:30, it was at 3.6k views and I gained nearly 20 subs. Now when I'm making this, which is Thursday at around like 3 o'clock, I have now 273 subscribers and it has 5,500 views. And for once, I finally crossed 250 mark, which is something that has been dangling over my shoulders for such a long time. The feedback is much appreciated, as I hope this video is now much more slower in my audio and less breathtaking between recordings, as well as the background music. Still lo-fi-esque, because that's what I want, but enough to where you can still hear the music and hear myself over. Thank you again for the feedback and support, and I'm so happy because now I get to finally have momentum. I have momentum now to make this my dream job. All I needed was just one video to be an absolute banger of a hit. And now I have that. And I have momentum and it shall continue to be pushed. We are going to the top. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Next Friday, we take a break from the development deep dives on the crew of the Amazing Digital Circus and it's split fiction as I present my review on a wonderful game. I'll give my thoughts on the good, the bad, and the excellent with a rating at the end of the video. We'll return to the Amazing Digital Circus crew with the third installment of Development Deep Dives as Jax is up next on Friday, May the 1st, which will be my first video back at home for my first year of college concluding. No more bad mic quality, thank goodness. And you don't have that random background staticky noise that you will always have to hear. Thank goodness. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, share the video to your friends, subscribe to me, enjoy my videos. Hit that little bell so you know when I upload and go live. All credit goes to Glitch Productions and Gooseworks for making this amazing series. Their credit links will be in the description, as well as credited in the end credits screen. Thank you again for watching. This is Ninja Joe signing out. Peace!